Hello and welcome to another episode with our Facebook group. Today we're going to look at lateral exercises. I've been shoulder in, hindquarters in, shoulder out, hindquarters out. But more importantly, I've just got back from 10 days working with a horseman from America called Jeff Sanders, and you can find him on modernvaquero.com. And we spent the whole time really talking about body position, balance, and where we really need to be sitting on our horse so we don't get in our way of our horse. So the biomechanics of how your horse is balanced, so where we should be sitting in relation to lateral work. And it really took us nearly the full 10 days for it to work for us. But the basics I'm going to talk about with you now. And if just at the end of it, it sort of makes sense just where you're sitting, then I think you've won, because this is difficult. So in the beginning, the very first thing Jeff talked about was when your horse is on a circle, or you turn your horse. So say you want to turn our horses to the right. Obviously, we're sitting on top of our horses. There's 3 spots you could sit on your horse. You could sit directly in the middle. You could sit slightly to the right, or you could sit slightly to the left. So by that I mean the bones of my backside. When I'm in the middle, I'm sitting straight over the horse's spine, and each cheekbone's one on each side, perfectly even. Try to be. Now when we talk about sitting to the side of our saddle, we're talking about simply moving our cheekbones maybe 1 inch, and in the beginning sometimes we were sitting like 3 inches, because we thought we were in the right spot, and they're yelling, no, you're not yet. So to sort of really make our brains and our bodies get it right, we'd totally exaggerate it, which was way over here. Now obviously there's a point where you start pulling your horse out of balance, and we felt like we were sort of at that point. But when you're doing this for the first bit, you might want to really do it like this, in that you totally sit right over the other side, because your body will naturally pull you the other way, and you'll find out more as I go along. So also a lot of this has come from getting this lateral work working a lot better. So your collection comes from really good lateral work, and Jeff was getting us to use our hindquarters in, hindquarters out exercises, and shoulders in, shoulders out, because to develop collection, to develop the power, because your horses will find when they start moving their hips and moving their shoulders, the most natural and efficient way of them doing that is to actually collect up. And so they naturally start lowering their hindquarters. Because they lower their hindquarters, they can step through more. Because they can step through more, their head starts arcing up. So it's not about pulling on the front end to get their nose in and down. It's actually about getting this back end to lower and relax and step through more. Good. Now, we should talk about cadence, or the walk. Obviously, you don't want your horses slowing down for when you move them about like this. Most horses will. So the first thing is you need to have a really good walk. And you must never start going faster if you haven't got this at the walk. Because if your horse can't do this at the walk, then the problems you're experiencing will just be 10 times worse at the trot. And then they'll be 100 times worse at the canter. So if your horse keeps dying from this when you're doing this at the walk, the answer isn't do it at the trot. The answer is get your horse walking out. Get a bit more power. And the other thing you might be doing wrong is that you might be getting just a stride or two, and then your horse starts dying. So you're holding for too long. So, and that was one of the things with Shiloh and I, is that he would get slower and slower, and I was holding for too long. So you might need to play with releasing a lot sooner. You might need to use your legs a bit more and to tell your horse, come on, keep going,